Now let's go back to the middle part of verse 5, where we started with Moroni as the first person that is specifically mentioned. Why would Moroni be there? It's Moroni, whom I have sent unto you to reveal the Book of Mormon, containing the fullness of mine everlasting gospel, to whom I have committed the keys of the record of the stick of Ephraim. As the priesthood was restored to Joseph Smith and to Oliver Cowdery and to these early church members, the Aaronic priesthood was fairly simple. May 15th, 1829, John the Baptist came and gave them the Aaronic priesthood. Later, you get Peter, James, and John who came to restore the Melchizedek priesthood, but it's as if they just started the process. They gave the keys of the apostleship to Joseph and Oliver. It's as if they gave them the apostolic key ring and maybe the initial key of being apostles. So you have this big key ring, and they get their first key on it, but now they have to wait, because over time they're going to get more and more and more keys attached to that framework that has been granted to them. So you'll notice a key comes from verse 5. Moroni held the keys of the record of the stick of Ephraim. Now let's quickly go through some of these other names and what the keys are. Verse 6. Also with Elias, to whom I have committed the keys of bringing to pass the restoration of all things, spoken by the mouth of all the holy prophets since the world began concerning the last days. So there's another key that's going to allow them to unlock the door that they're calling the restoration of all things that have been spoken by the mouth of these prophets. Now, who is that Elias? Look at verse 7. And also John, this would be John the Baptist, the son of Zacharias, which Zacharias, Elias, visited and gave promise that he should have a son. So now all of a sudden we've connected the dots that Elias here, in this context, is the angel Gabriel who appeared to Zacharias as well as to Mary and Joseph surrounding the birth events of John the Baptist and Jesus in Luke chapters 1 and 2 and Matthew chapter 1. Notice verse 8, which John I have sent unto you, my servants, Joseph Smith Jr. and Oliver Cowdery, to ordain you unto the first priesthood, which you have received, that you might be called and ordained even as Aaron. So you saw him already. He's reminding them. Verse 9, and also Elijah, unto whom I have committed the keys of the power of turning the hearts of the fathers to the children. So you just keep adding to this apostolic key ring, different keys that open different doors for different purposes. And brothers and sisters, this is the beautiful thing about the dispensation of the fullness of times. All of these keys are coming to Joseph Smith from other dispensations and from other prophets who had different callings when they were on the earth, and they're all coming together in a fullness. We're not going to have a key ring that's lacking. They're going to keep coming line upon line here. Look at verse 10. Also with Joseph and Jacob and Isaac and Abraham, your fathers, by whom the promises remain. So all of the Abrahamic covenant associated promises, covenant blessings, and keys are going to be present there. Verse 11, also with Michael, or Adam, the father of all, the prince of all, and the Ancient of Days. Verse 12, Peter, James, and John, whom I have sent unto you, by whom I have ordained you and confirmed you to be apostles, and especial witnesses of my name, and bear the keys of your ministry and of the same things which I revealed unto them. So the things I gave to them, they've now given to you. It's a fullness of times. And then verse 13, unto whom I have committed the keys of my kingdom and a dispensation of the gospel for the last times and for the fullness of times, in the which I will gather together in one all things, both which are in heaven and which are on earth. And then he adds the verse 14 to include all those whom my Father hath given me out of the world. This is a beautiful, beautiful promise that we're all going to get together if we're in that group described in verse 14,